Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Compelling Conversations podcast. Today, I'm very happy to be joined by my friend Tasmiya. Tasmiya, thanks so much for being here.
No, of course. Thank you for having me. It's like
Yeah,
a blessing to be on here. It's crazy. Like we were always talking about it, but I thought it was a joke. But then now I'm here. So yeah.
yeah, this is really cool. I appreciate you being on here, and it's a special episode because today is Eid. I don't think I've ever filmed a podcast episode on Eid, so this is cool. But
Yeah. This is one for the books.
yeah, that's the way to
Yeah.
put it. And it's interesting because like the last Eid al-Fitr, we were taking an exam. How
Oh
wild is
my
that?
God. Wow, that's crazy. We were at our Orgo exam.
Yeah, isn't that
Oh
crazy?
my God. That feels like forever ago though. Like it does not feel like it was like recent, you know?
It
I
really
don't know.
does. Yeah, that last semester, in a way, it feels like its own life and it's just kind of like gone.
Yeah, like this summer, I don't know, it feels like so slow but so fast. That last semester just feels like so long ago, you know? Like it doesn't feel like it was only a month ago, which is
Yeah,
weird.
yeah. I think one of the coolest conversations I've had with you is about like timelines and how COVID changed the timelines of our lives. And I was curious, do you like the timeline that you're on right now?
I would say, yeah, like I'm genuinely like happy with my life where it is right now, like alhamdulillah. But I don't know. I think before COVID, like it was all over the place. Like I had no idea what I wanted to do in life. I had no idea that like anything, right? But now I think I'm older too, and as you grow, like you realize like damn, like now I have to start thinking about like the real world, you know? Like, I don't know. I think after 20s it just gets real like wow, like I'm old now. Now my life is beginning, you know?
Yeah. Do you ever look back and like become curious about what could have happened?
I haven't done that honestly because a lot of things that I did think about like because I've always like known what I want to do in my future kind of like it's always been like I want to be a doctor or like I want to go to U of H. So like before COVID, it wasn't so much different. Like I always knew that like what my goals were, you know, in that sense.
Mhm.
But with the friendships I feel I've had, I would have never thought the people that I am friends with right now would stick
Yeah,
in that
that's a
sense.
very good point there. I think yeah, for sure, the people. I think that is something that I think about as well, is that I think perhaps one of the biggest changes in my life with this other timeline is the people. I just don't think I would have met any of these people, including yourself, had my timeline not changed. It's an
Yeah.
interesting thing. And you can never predict like the people you meet either. It's so fascinating.
Yeah, like you cannot like meet someone and then be like, oh my God, this person's gonna be like my best friend, or like this person I'm spending like my life with, or like I wanna like be friends with them when I'm older, you know? Like it just happens gradually. And then once like you think about it, you're like, oh wow, like this person's actually in my life now, you know? Like I've had like a lot of like high school friends, and like honestly, half of them like I didn't even know they were going to U of H, right? So like I had no idea that a friendship would even last. And then now like I see them at U of H and like I'm really good friends with them. And I'm like, damn, like I never knew that we would still be friends to this day, you know?
Yeah. How do the people appear in your life, do you think? Like the people that end up staying in your life? How does that happen to you?
Like the people that sticked with me since high school or like
I guess it's more like, do you go after the people or the people somehow just enter into your life?
honestly, it was both because like whenever I was in high school, like my sophomore year, I like moved from a different school, right? So at that point when you're new, like you kind of have to not chase, quote unquote, but like you kind of have to like look for friends, right? Like you can't just sit there and expect people to just come to you. But like in my bus stop, I made like friends with this neighbor that I had. And so she, like, I never knew that we would be friends either. But she introduced me to like a whole group of people that like some of them I'm friends with today. So it kind of happened like that. So like I don't know, like I wasn't chasing for them, but also like I wanted to meet new people, you know. But I never knew like she was gonna introduce me to those people.
Yeah.
So it's like weird.
Yeah. It's like taking action, but then also things just kind of happen in a way.
Yeah, like I think if you like chase it too much, then it won't go your way or like it won't happen, you know. So you have to like let it come to you, but you also have to put in like a little bit effort. So,
Yeah,
you know.
that's a very good point. And it's always a tricky thing to gauge. Like how much effort do you put in versus how much of it do you just keep hands off?
Yeah, and like also that goes into like a lot of like friendships that I had in high school. Like now I'm putting in the effort, right, to like keep them my like from my old school, but to like keep them my friend. But then I'm also like, how much do I put? Like they gotta put some too, right? Like it gotta be two-sided. It can't just be one-sided. So I'm like, because I reach out to them to like talk to them, but like they reached out and then they were like, oh, I have like whatever, I'm busy on that day. So I was like, okay, like what day are you free then? And like they never answered. So I was like, okay, then like I don't want to ask you again. Like now it's your turn, you know? So I
Yeah,
don't know.
that's a rough patch. Is it easy letting go of people for you, do you think?
It is, but it's not. Like it just depends who they are and like what they did, you know, like, and also if I know that I did my part of my side, like, and put in my effort, like in this situation, I put in my effort, like, I know I did, I know I texted them, I know I reached out to them. And so, like, if they don't reach out, then, like, it's fine, like, let them go, you know. But if it's like someone that actually, like they're putting their part into it and I'm putting my part, then, like, letting go of them would be hard.
Yeah. I think like since I was 19, I became very stoic about the people I was meeting, where I did put in the effort to get to know them and whatnot, but I was also very hands off. Like if they come, they come. If they go, they go. And I feel like I'm that way now too. But yeah, it's just so interesting all the different people you meet, and then there's people that end up staying that you don't expect them to, and there's people that leave, and you're like really surprised when that happens, and it's just like you don't sometimes you don't make those choices. It just kind of is fate in a way.
Yeah, and like it could be hard at times, especially when you care about the person and like they just leave, you know, or like they did something like a little bit, but then it still made y'all like fall apart. Like it hurts, but if fate was meant to like keep y'all together, then y'all would have, you know. So it's like it's just life, I think, part of
Yeah,
life.
it's interesting. Me and you one time we were talking, and we're like we were talking about how this idea, like if it's meant to be, it'll happen. Like everything is supposed to happen. And then we had a friend who was
Yeah.
really like surprised when we said that. And to us, it was like, well, that's just how it is. But to him, he couldn't understand that. Where does that
Yeah,
idea come from for you that everything is just meant to happen?
that's a good question. I think just like experiences from my life because like usually if I force something to go my way or like I need this to happen, like if especially if it's not like reasonable, if I needed like something to happen and it didn't happen, then I would be upset, right? But then I finally like came to terms that like if something is meant to happen, it'll happen and everything happens for a reason. So like you just gotta go with the flow more than like pushing like the flow, you know, like going
Yeah.
away from it. I don't know how to word that, but yeah.
No, I like the way you said that, pushing the flow. Are you a patient person, do you think, in those kinds of things?
Honestly, like when like back then, like I would say even like 2, 3 years ago, I was not patient like at all. Like I would be so quick to just be so mad. Like it was a problem. But now, like over the years, I think I've become like so much more patient. Like I think like just because my sister, she's like very patient when it comes to stuff. And so I think just seeing her made me like way more patient. And then that made her like less patient. So I don't get it. It's weird, but it's so weird. But seeing her like be patient, like I was like, okay, I need to calm down. I need to be patient. And yeah, so I think I learned it from her.
That's cool. Yeah, Patience is I really like that one song by Guns N' Roses, Patience, but it's a tough thing to obtain, but I think if you keep making the attempt, then it kind of comes your way a little
Yeah,
bit.
it definitely does. Yeah. You just gotta like, I don't know, for me it's like breathing in, breathing out. Like, and sometimes like when I'm mad, I just like stay quiet now. But before I would literally just like start like saying whatever's on my mind, you know. But whenever they say think before you speak, you actually gotta think before you speak. Like if you have nothing nice to say, don't say it at all.
Yeah, that is a very good point. Yeah. Another thing I've been thinking about is it ever too late?
Too late for like which situation, like for what?
Anything in general? Do you think it's ever too late?
Mm, I don't think it's ever too late. I think that like you can do whatever you want whenever you want. And like, I think the too late thing is like in people's head, you know, like even if it's like, you know how like some people they're like 30 and I'm like, they want to like go back to school or they want to do something that they hadn't done when they were like small. I don't think it's ever too late. Like, I think age is just a number. Or yeah, age is just a number.
Yeah.
Because
No, I like that
usually
perspective.
people yeah, usually people think it's too late because of their age, usually for the most part. So I think age is just a number.
Yeah. There's one of the things that I admire about you is I never felt judged like when we would like talk and stuff. Where does that come from for you? Where do you like withhold your judgments?
I think that's very sweet that you said that. Like, thank you. But honestly, I think it just comes from me being judged before. So people do it to me. And like when I didn't like that, I was like, okay, then if I don't like something, I gotta stop doing it to other people, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
No, it's yeah, go ahead.
sorry, like in elementary school and even like middle school, like I was always judged. Like I don't know, you probably know this, but in elementary school, like I went to a private school and like I didn't wear hijab, right? So those kids, like they all wear hijabs. So I had to pretend like I did, even when I didn't. Like none of my family did. And so I would be like, yeah, I do wear hijab, like sometimes. And then whenever I said that, then they would start including me to stuff. And so basically they were judging me for not wearing hijab. And so I felt like very out of place. Like as like a fourth grader, I was like, I don't even know what I want to do tomorrow. Like, why are you asking if I wear hijab? Like I'm literally like 11 or something, like 10. So yeah, that made me like not mad, but like excluded. Like, why do you like I'm Muslim at the end of the day? Like I'm the same person as you. I just don't have something on my head. Like it's not that big of a deal. But yeah, and then in middle school, I also got judged. I got judged a lot. So that wasn't a private school, but yeah. So I think that like if I didn't like it, I don't want to do it to someone else.
Yeah. And it's interesting. I don't know if you would say the same thing, but like because I felt like an outcast from time to time growing up, I think it allowed me to be more inclusive of people. Would you say that would be like a similar thing for you?
Yeah, I think that's very similar. Like I think like I would want to include people, especially if they're like they feel like an outlier, right? Because then you don't feel like good about yourself, but like you feel happy inside that like because you would want someone to do that if you were on the other side, you know, like if you were in their place, I would want someone to include me, like, you know, so I would do the same for someone else.
Yes, and this is very interesting because yesterday I was listening to Jordan Peterson and he used a very interesting phrase. He said narcissistic compassion, where he's like, we're living in a time now where everything can be invited to the table. Like no one is like judging anyone and well
Yeah.
maybe that's not the case, but the idea that we all try to be nice to each other, which is a good thing, but it's like should we really be inviting everything to the table? Like there's some people that they really just aren't good for you, and there's no need to invite them to the table. Like toxic people in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah,
something that, yeah.
that's cool, but like I want to say something. Like honestly, like even if someone tells you like a person is like toxic or this, that, like sometimes or yeah, sometimes I just like to see it for myself, which is like not dumb, but like sometimes it can like hurt me. But I don't like to trust like other people's opinions on other people, you know? Like if someone says like this person is a bad person, I'm like, okay, let me go talk to them and let me see when they do something that like I don't like, and then I make my decision based on that,
Yes, that is a
you
very
know?
good point. I like that. And it's true. I've experienced that as well, where it's like sometimes the people that are like the most hated they actually end up being like okay folks. And then
Yeah.
sometimes it's the people that are the most loved and revered happen to be like the most poisonous. And it's like, oh my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah. So you
It's
never know, honestly. So at what like in one sense, everything should be invited to the table, but just you gotta make your own decision, you know? That makes sense.
yes, keep your eyes open type thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely an important thing. There was another interesting thing that you mentioned to me one time, which is that sometimes you think the reason people are like toxic or clicky is because they're just insecure. And the only place that they can feel secure is in those cliques. So that's why they kind of judge you from the inside.
Yeah. That's so crazy how you remember that though.
Yeah. Do you mind
Yeah.
expanding on that, or do you have any other thoughts on that?
Yeah, I don't have too much to say on that, but yeah, like that's what my mom always tells me. So I just go based on her. She's experienced a lot with like friends and stuff, but she says like if people have like a low self image, they try to like they're insecure, right? So that's why they're judging you based on something that you have that they would want in themselves, but they don't and they lack it. So that's why they're judging you or like that's what I think, but I don't know if that's necessarily true. But yeah.
I think it's a good point, though. I've definitely felt that for sure. And yeah, I just thought it was very interesting how you and your mom articulated that. It's like, oh, that's certainly a
Yeah.
unique perspective.
Yeah, because I always tell her about like stuff, like whatever I'm going through or whatever's on my mind, right? And she's like, yeah, that's probably because of this or that's probably because of that. And I'm like, okay, that makes so much sense now. Like now I get it.
Yeah.
So
From the time that I've known you, you strike me as a person that like sticks to your lane and just kind of has your focus where it is. How do you manage to do that?
I try, like sometimes I fall like here and there, like especially my freshman year, like I know that's like getting into college, you know, and like you're just trying to experience and trying to have fun because it's a whole different environment than high school. So like I kind of fell off with my focus a little bit, not too much, but just a little bit. And like, but after that, I was like, okay, like school comes first, like my priorities come first, my goals come first, and everything that like that's in between will just like follow, you know, like I don't know how to put into words, but like if you're looking for something, then like it'll just come as you're trying to like reach your goals, you know?
I like that. That's a good way to put it. Yeah, if you're looking for something, it'll come your way if you have your goals focused. Why do you think that
Yeah.
is? Do you think it's because you have like a purpose or a mission that things
Yeah,
come your way?
yeah. I think because like you have to have like your priorities straight. Like you need to know what you want in your life. Because if you don't know and if you're unsure, then like you're gonna be confused, right? So then the things that do come in your life, you're gonna like keep moving from that place to the next, right? Like different stuff. But as like when you know what you want, then you're just gonna keep moving in like a straight lane, like you said. And the things will like just come to you in a way, you know. I don't know how
Yeah.
to explain that, but
There was a time one semester where I would just kind of wander campus aimlessly. not really sure like where I wanted to go, but I was there, for the day. And that was awful. That was an illusion that spontaneity is this great thing. But then I
Yeah.
decided, okay, like anytime I leave one place, I have a focus of where I'm going next. And that's the only place I'm walking to. And somehow, just magically, like cool things would happen on the way there or at that place, because I was just focused on where I'm going. Whereas when I entertained this idea of, oh, I'll be spontaneous and walk wherever, it just felt so aimless and it didn't seem like it was nothing exciting was happening. The exciting stuff was happening when I had a place to go.
That's like a very good way to put it though. Like you said it like perfectly, like everything that was going through my head, you said that perfectly, like that example too. Like I think that's happened to me a few times before when I was on campus too. Like I would be like, no, I want to go to the student center. Then I'd be like, no, 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 let's go to the library. And I'd be like, okay, wait, let's go to cooler grounds. Like it just didn't make sense, right? But whenever I knew like I needed to go to class and then after class I'll get coffee and then after that coffee I'll go do my homework. I saw like more like I was just happier that way too. And I saw like more like entertaining things, like I feel you have to like you have to like make like a to-do list or like plan your things. Like I can't like be spontaneous either. Like sometimes
Yeah.
it's good and all, right? But like you just you just gotta know a little bit of the plan, like a little
Yes.
bit.
100%. 100%. And here's another interesting thing that I think you might relate to. When I travel, my days are my wager. So like I'm not interested in going to sleep. I'm not interested in being tired. Like
Yeah.
I'm out the whole day, like doing as much as I can do because I only have those, few days to do it all. And that's like the aim. And so it's so exciting. But when you're in Houston, the place you live, it's like, oh, um, there's places that you just never been because you just never cared to go there. And sometimes like the day
Yeah.
just kind of goes by and it's like, oh, well, we'll get to it tomorrow. I always thought it was an interesting thing. When you're traveling, you're always like on it. Your days are your wager.
No, that's so true. Like, yeah, like you don't want to skip a day. You don't want to sleep. You want to wake up as early as you can. Like I try to do that in Houston. Like I try to act like I'm on vacation like every day because I feel like you have to romanticize your life in order for you to like enjoy it. Like you have to make it look aesthetic. You have to, no, you don't have to, but like I like to, like I like to like make it look pretty. I like to make it look like I'm having fun, obviously, but I just like to make it look more fun than the stuff is like getting like going for a run to get coffee. Doesn't sound that fun, right? But when you go and like you play your music and you blast your AC, you wear sunglasses and you just go with like a friend or my sister, then like it's just fun that way. So I think you have to romanticize your life because on vacation you do that obviously. Like you're like, I'm gonna do this, then that, then that. But like as if when you're like in Houston or when you're home, you're like, okay, like I don't care. This is like where I live. I can do that any day. But I think you have to like make it sound exciting.
Yes, I love how you said that, like romanticize your life, because something I've been really fascinated by recently is Indiana Jones. What I think is so cool about Indiana Jones is the forefront of his mind is focused on the adventure of his life. Everything else is in the background. His job, his relationships, his everyday life, his friends, all that's in the back of his mind. The forefront of his mind is the adventure of his
Yeah.
life. He makes it romantic, and it's so cool because those are the best adventures, eh?
Yeah. I think that's the main like that's what I'm trying to do this summer too. Cause like usually we like usually we're out a lot of the summer, like we're like traveling, right? But this summer I was like, you guys, like I do not want to go anywhere. I'm just trying to sit at home and be bored and see what I can do with my time. Because like everybody asks me like what do I do in my free time? And I have no idea because like I don't have free time, right? But now that I do have free time, I'm trying to see like how do I utilize it? So I think that's like you have to, especially in summer, like you have to romanticize your life. Otherwise, you're gonna get bored.
Yeah. I like that you mentioned this. What have you discovered so far about being bored?
Not so much yet. Like it still hasn't like I'm bored, but not to that point where I'm like, oh shit, like I have nothing to do because I'm still taking summer classes, you know. So that's like taking up a lot of my time. But I recently like I've been like scrapbooking, so I love that. And then I've always loved board games, but now I just like love it more. So like every time I'm like, okay, let's play like Ludo or like let's play some board games, you know. And then I recently found out that like I don't hate Netflix that much. Like you know how like I said I hate shows and movies
Yeah.
and stuff. Like
Yes.
I literally watched like a movie and I love them. I watched two movies this summer and that's like probably the most I've ever watched and those were good. And then I'm watching a show right now and I'm addicted to it. So yeah, learning
What
stuff.
were the movies and what was the show?
The movie was like I don't remember the name, but it was like on Netflix. It was like to everything. So I don't even remember the name. But the other movie was like a Bollywood movie, the new one that came out. I don't know. I'm so bad with names, bro. This
It's all good.
is but the show is called The Summer I Turned Pretty. I don't know if you
Interesting. I
yeah,
have
and
not
this
heard of it, no.
yeah, it's probably more like a girl thing, but the second season is like coming out like July 14th. And like my friends told me to watch it. So I'm like, okay, now we have something to talk about. Because every time they talk about shows or Netflix or movies, I literally blank out. Like I just start like thinking about something. Like, yeah. So now I have something to talk about.
No, that's cool. It's interesting because yeah, you said it. You're like, yeah, I just don't watch movies. I don't watch TV shows. It's like, damn, that's pretty new for you. So I guess that's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like now me and my sister talk about it too. And I'm like, oh my God, I hate that character. Oh my God, I love him. So like, it's kind of fun. Like now I don't know. It just has to be the right type of movie or show for me to like watch. Like it just has to be realistic. Like I cannot watch no like superhero movie or like Marvel. Like I cannot do that.
It's funny you mentioned this because I think like the main way I remember you is you don't like anything fake. Do you mind expanding on that?
Yeah, I don't like fake movies. I don't like fake TV shows. I don't like fake people. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't like fake things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Cause I gotta like relate to it somehow, you know, like superhero like when am I ever gonna be flying in the sky like you? Like I have no idea. And then like fake people, like I just don't attract their energy. Like I don't F with that. So yeah, I just
Yeah.
don't like fake things or people.
Yes. That was a very cool phrase there. Fake people. I don't attract their energy. That is cool.
Yeah.
And do you think you don't attract that energy because you're authentic to yourself?
For the most part, yeah. I think it's because of that. And I don't know, like I've dealt with so many fake people that like now sometimes whenever I just look at someone, like I can just like tell whether they're being real or they're being fake, like just by their like way of their talking or like their energy and stuff, you know. And it's
Yeah.
sometimes annoying because like then like I give them a chance, but not like a like I'm not giving my all when they're talking because I'm like, okay, like I shut them down. I'm like, okay, they're a little bit like iffy, like I don't know about this. But that's like a bad thing. But also, I don't know, sometimes it could be a good thing.
Yeah. I definitely believe that when you enter a person's vicinity, you can just kind of feel the energy. And it's like you
Yeah.
just it's kind of like a it's a cliche way to put it, but like a gut feeling almost, like of what you think of them. Do
Yeah.
you think that that's ever like betrayed you? The sort of energy you feel in a person, and if it's like you felt one way
Um,
about them, but they actually weren't that way? Or do you think it's
it's
mostly
happened.
true?
It's happened to, you know, like Sarah, my friend. It's it wasn't like to the like that bad, but whenever I did meet her, I literally thought she hated me. Like I and she thought I hated her. So like we were both feeling the same thing, you know? And so like I found out that it wasn't like that. But I think it's just because she had an RBF. It wasn't more so like the energy she was giving off, you know, like how people have an RBF. And like that confuses me a little bit too. But I go more based on like energy because even my sister, she has an RBF too. So she's always like told me like, oh my God, I think that person like hates me because of my RBF. I'm like, okay, then smile a little bit more. Like, and she gets so mad. She's
Yeah.
like, I can't, it's not that easy. And I'm like, okay, I'm sorry. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, that's so funny that you mentioned that. Yeah, it's an interesting thing. Yeah, I guess we can never be certain, but I think there's beauty in that. There's hope in that. That it's like
Yeah.
even if it doesn't appear right at first, like that's not the be all end all type thing.
Yeah, that's so true. Like I try to like even if they have like energy that I don't like mess with so much, like I still try to like have some hope in that. But then like twice or three times, then after that I'm like, okay, no. Because then the first time you can't really tell that much, right? But like probably till like the third or fourth time you can tell a little bit. So I'm like, okay, let me just like I won't like cut them off, but like I'll just like keep my distance.
Yes. And I think another cool part about just being human is that we're never like the same people that we were like a year ago, at least not entirely. And so people,
Yeah.
things can change to a certain extent. And so if you didn't really like someone once upon a time, it's like maybe a few years later, it's like, oh wow, they're actually really cool.
Yeah. That literally happens so much like in life. Like I've just seen it like around me and like it's crazy how that works though, because like at one point you probably like despise them, right? Or like not that much, but like some people are like that. So it's like crazy how that works. Cause then like then y'all are like friends and you don't act like that never happened, but like you just put it in the back of your head. You're like, okay, whatever. Like we're gonna forget about that part. Now we're just friends and we're good friends. But that's just crazy
Yeah,
how life works.
it really is. It's just so crazy. And yeah, like I'm always just in awe of the mystery of it all.
Yeah.
Like I didn't know you a year ago, but now I know you. It's like, wow, like you're on this podcast. Like, wow, how random is that, you know? It's like maybe
Yeah.
a year later, if I'm still alive, God willing, like who are the people that I'll meet then? You just never know.
Yeah, that's crazy. I literally would have never thought I would be on this podcast right now.
Yeah,
Because
you know.
I was
It
I was not against it, but I was just like, oh, like I don't know. But now that I think about it, like I could come back and watch this one day and it'll be here, like and be like, wow,
yeah,
those were my thoughts. Like they've changed a little bit or they're still the same. Like I don't know.
yes. And this is like the whole purpose of the podcast is it's like a testament to our time and reality, you know? And
Yeah,
who are the people that you go to look for advice for or whatever, like words of wisdom? It's your family and friends and kind of like a place for it. It's like we've had cool conversations in real life, but those were one and
yeah.
done and they'll never happen again. But this is one that's preserved and it's like uh, a time capsule in a way. It's cool.
Oh yeah. That's a really good way. Like a time capsule. That's a good way to put it. But yeah, like I love YouTube and like I love watching other people's videos too. And like sometimes I one day I was like thinking about like creating YouTube videos too, you know. So this is cool because I'll look back at this and it's gonna be
Yeah.
mean, but I don't know about
You should be a YouTuber. It'd be really cool. But you're a famous TikToker. What is that like?
no. I'm not famous, but I don't know. I just it's not really like it's not all that I would say. Like I'm just another human that just posts their life, you know. Like I just gotta be a little bit more careful when I meet people. That's probably the only difference. And just be careful on like what I post out there because like not everything is meant for like the media, but that's about it. I'm still another human just trying to figure out life.
Yeah, and that's cool. I will say at the time that I've known you, you are like pretty like humble about it. And also it just you just I don't know. You're pretty you're pretty smooth about it. I don't know how to word it,
Yeah.
but it's cool.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
No, yeah. Because I don't know, like I've seen like people that like that make like TikTok like their personality basically. Like I'm a TikToker, I have this many followers, and I'm that, so you should treat me like that, you know, like and I've always like despised those people and like whenever I did start TikTok, like I told myself I am never gonna be those people, so gotta stick to that promise.
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's important for sure. One thing I wanted to go back to was you came onto this podcast, you had like the courage to do it. Just in general, where does your courage come from?
Honestly, I have none, but like I don't know. Like my thought process on coming here, I was just like, I just gotta like come out my comfort zone like a little bit. Cause usually like I said, like I'm never like I don't get filmed. Like I film other people, right? Or I film other things, but I'm never the one to like get filmed. So being on camera is a little bit weird. Unless I'm filming myself, that's different, right? But being on camera is like a little bit weird to me. Like you would expect it's not. Like because I wanted to be a YouTuber. I make TikToks, but I don't know, like I don't even know where it came from. I was just like, I think I need to do this. Like I think
Yeah.
it's cool though.
Thank you for being here. And I'm curious, are you afraid of being embarrassed? You don't strike me as that kind of person, but I'm just wondering.
No, I am. I am honestly like I don't know, like in my head it's like it's it's only awkward if you make it awkward. It's only embarrassing if
Yeah.
you make it embarrassing. But I try not to, but also it depends. Like if like my friends or my sister or someone that's close to me is around when something embarrassing happens, then I try to just laugh it off and be like, okay, whatever, right? But if I'm by myself and I'm like something embarrassing happens and I'd be like, oh shit, like let me get out of here. Like then I'd be like very embarrassed. So I think it depends on the situation, but for the most part, yeah, I do get embarrassed
Yeah.
easily.
All part of the human experience, eh?
Yeah, what can I say? I'm just another human, right? Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I had a lot of fun in this conversation, and I really appreciate you being here. I'm curious to Smia, do you have any closing thoughts? Anything you felt like you wanted to say, but you didn't get a chance to, or something on your mind that you wanted to express?
no, I just wanted to say thank you for having me and thank you for reaching out after like two times of me saying I was gonna come on here and I never did. But yeah, it was just like very busy, like right after school. But I'm glad that we could do this. So thank you.
Yeah, no, of course. And there's so many people that are like trying to get onto this. Like we've arranged it so many times, but I think the really cool thing is at the end of the day, like this happened in the right time. This was the right time for
Yeah,
this to happen. So it's cool, and I'm glad that you were here.
yeah.
So thank you.
No, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, I suppose until next time, you take care.
Okay. You
Eid
too.
Mubarak.
Bye. Eid
Yeah.
Mubarak again.